Thank you, Mr. Speaker. When I came into this hall today, I wasn't sure if I would speak. I don't have a set speech. In fact, you can see I scribbled some notes. But there were some things said today that, and again, I probably won't say anything that's earth-shattering. I may not see anything you haven't heard say before. But it's one of those issues where I feel compelled to make a statement. Some arguments were made today. One is that those of us who support this bill are trying to make an end run around the Constitution. And I would challenge those members on the other side if I think that's the case. The ACA clearly provides for the opt-out, and I will remind you that the ACA was passed without a single Republican vote. So I would urge you to challenge your party that passed the ACA with the opt-out procedure. We're taking advantage of something the law permits us to take, and I think appropriately so. Some have said that somehow, all of a sudden, conservatives are for big government, and this is a big government idea. I would say this to you. If government doesn't have a role in protecting innocent life, then what is the government's role? I would argue that what you advocate, those that support this bill, is not limited government, it's moral anarchy. Liberty is not anarchy. Some have argued that somehow because I'm a man and others are men in this hall, somehow we're not qualified to speak on something that's, quote, a woman's issue. I would take strong exception to that as well. All of us here have mothers, wives, many of us have daughters. We not only have a right to speak, we have an obligation to speak. The last thing, some have said that somehow we are trying to oppress or suppress, that we are engaged in ideology. And I would say quite the opposite. I would see those, and I know many of you on this side agree with me. Many of you agree that abortion on demand is a moral evil. Many of you agree that outside of narrow exceptions it's repugnant. I know many of you on that side agree with me on that. Those pushing the bill from the left are engaged in an ideological struggle. I would just leave you with this. Over 3,000 years ago, a great prophet of Israel stood before the people and said, "Choose you this day whom you will serve." We have a similar choice today. We have life in what Pope John Paul II said is the culture of death. I would ask you to choose life today.